Welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast. My name is Ian Ray, your host today. Today I have Jonathan Morse, hailing from northern Denver, Colorado. Jonathan, welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Ian. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So let's dive in, man. I love to have the audience kind of hear your story of how you got into doing fascia stretch therapy. So please give me a brief overview of who you are and what you do.
So, like you said, my name is Jonathan Morse. Grew up in Colorado, Boulder, more specifically, and I grew up with the dream of playing professional basketball. So I lived, breathed, ate, slept, everything basketball, growing up through high school, college, and I actually did end up playing overseas. Part of my basketball story is I had a jacked up leg, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So I broke my femur bone on a trampoline when I was a kid, and it healed crooked. It kind of complicated things. So if we're looking at, this is my right leg, it kind of bent out like that. So my foot, by the time I was a sophomore in high school, my feet would be shoulder width apart. And I was still playing and active and jumping and running on that. So it took a couple surgeries to cut it and straighten it out. Did my shin bones, my tibia and fibula in high school, and I played high school and college with that and a crooked femur still. After I was done in college, I cut the femur bone in half, straightened that out. It took about 2 years to recover from that, and then I went and played overseas.
Mm-hmm.
This all leads into how I got here. So when I played overseas, the trainers probably weren't all the best in the world, and so if I had nicks or if I had injuries or something that was hurting me, I kind of had to figure it out on my own. So I would start doing YouTube. I would do massage. I'd do foam rolling. I would do stretching and mobility. And I even started doing that back when I was in college. So that's kind of what got me interested in this stuff. And I played a season over in Australia, and I spent weekly, I was in the physical therapy office, and they had all sorts of things for me, from my shoulder was hurting to my knee was hurting to my ankle was hurting. And I figured out all these different things just from my own body being hurt. So I kind of had this generalized knowledge of how to fix people in a certain way. When I finished playing basketball, started working in a hospital, trying to figure out if I wanted to go to PA school or med school. Those were, I thought, the only two options to go help people. And actually applied to PA school, got in the PA school, decided not to go to PA school because I figured out I didn't want to work in a hospital. And I had a buddy who was doing fascial stretch therapy, and I had something going on, and I seeked out his expertise for some help and ended up being gout, but it got me on the table, and I loved the stretching. And so when I left the hospital, he asked me to start working with him in his facility and got trained at Stretch to Win. And that's how I started my stretch journey and have been doing it since.
So what year? 3 years ago. Okay. So 3 years ago, the journey of FSC started, and then you're currently level 3, correct?
Yep. Level 3, sports specific.
Okay.
Yep.
Dang. So I guess, did you have any hesitancy going into the Stretch to Win course, or our initial thoughts?
At the time, so when I worked in the hospital, I was a medical scribe. So I followed the doctors and PAs around with a dorky little computer cart and just wrote notes.
Yeah.
Was never allowed to touch a patient, couldn't get close to them. So when I started working in this facility, it kind of gave me an opportunity to actually put hands on people and start helping people. And so there was no hesitancy to actually go into and get trained. I think the only hesitancy I had, I was like, I only need a week, because I was just in a community where these people went to school for years and years and all the training in the world before you can even touch a person. And I was like,
yeah,
okay. And after 5 days, I felt comfortable enough. At least I wouldn't hurt somebody. I could probably help somebody. And then the more people I got on my table, the easier it got, better from then on out.
I guess currently, who do you work with, typically, demographic population that you're working with?
I work for pretty much anybody that will come in. I've worked on 10-year-old athletes to 87-year-olds who can't walk anymore, and anyone in between. I have a few professional athletes that I've worked with, the weekend warriors, the people that work at a desk all day, and yeah, a little bit of everything. So I actually I work in a corporate office. probably 90 to 95% of those people just work at a desk most of the day. So a lot of upper back and neck and shoulders and stuff and low back and all the things that the typical Americans get. A high dose of that.
Yeah. Okay. So you're well equipped in doing some FST on them.
Absolutely.
I guess for you, what have you found most successful in starting your business, with mobility wellness?
Yep. So, like I said, I got started in another facility, and he had a really good base clientele. And unfortunately, his facility had to close down, and then he moved out of state. So I actually acquired and started my own business off on a really, really good foot. Like I had my first week by myself, I think I had 7 or 8 clients, which is not typical. And then I adopted his corporate account, and each week was 6 to 8 individuals there as well. So I hit the ground running really hard. So maybe find a situation like that. But the way it's grown from there,
Hmm.
it's all about relationships, I think. Really getting to know your clientele, really trying to build a relationship, make a connection with them, and listening to them and seeing what is best for them, because that's when they feel well taken care of. And that's when they feel like they're getting their money's worth, because it's their hard earned money. We're a cash business for the most part.
Yeah.
And if you're going to spend your hard earned money, you want to make sure it's going to something worthwhile, and you want to make sure the practitioner is going to be taking care of you. So I do my best to really make everyone feel comfortable on the table and address kind of what needs to be done. And also not inflict a lot of pain, which stretching doesn't really do that anyway. But if you start adding cupping and scraping and trigger point stuff in addition to that, maybe not kill people on the table.
Sure.
That's how I've acquired some clients from other physical therapists. They come in with bruises and stuff because they got scraped and cupped, and I'm like, oh my god, what are they doing to you? That's so unnecessary.
Yeah. So do you do anything other service besides FSD or just strictly FSD?
So I do FST. So FST was the first thing I started doing. So when I
Hmm.
went to Stretch to Win, I was a baby. I hadn't put hands on anybody else other than, giving my dad or my brothers like a neck massage for a few bucks, right? That was the only time I had worked on people. So that was my first experience to body work. And then after that, I got certified in cupping and scraping, do some lymphatic drainage. I do a couple other things like trigger point stuff. You kind of steal methods and stuff from everybody else and like, oh, that could be useful. That could be useful here. 95% of what I do is FST. I use those as a complement to FST.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of part about FSD. It does complement with a lot of different modalities, if anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When you're sitting with clients or your first time meeting with them, do you ever explain to them what the heck fascia, what it is that you're doing, rather than say, oh, I'm just stretching you? No, but what do you explain to them?
Yeah. So I often get athletes and they'll be like, this is much different than your athletic trainer stretching you at your high school or college, whatever your experience might have been from assisted stretching. The fascial stretch therapy and the traction that we add really targets that fascia. That's what makes it so special, right? I have the anatomy trains posters up in the room, and I show like, hey, you see these blue posters over here? It's like these are your fascial lines, and I'll do a stretch. And
Hmm.
just like Ann and Chris do when they teach us, like, hey, if you lift your arm, you'll feel the whole thing on that lateral line, or if you turn your head this way, you'll feel all the way down your hand. It's like, whoa. And they start connecting how integral fascia is and how important it is and how much everything is connected in the body. So I describe what fascia is and they're like, what is fascia? Oh yeah, I know what connective tissue is. I'm like, no, you don't. But you can just see it on their face. So my reference is always like, you ever seen a raw chicken? Like that white stuff that's in between the muscles? Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's fascia. It's covering everything in your body. You open it up, that's what's in your body, right? It connects everything, and it's probably the most important thing that's, holding your body together. And if you're an athlete, like that's the most important thing that you actually do train is your fascia, because that is how your body responds to stimulus, right? So if you start lifting weights and you start targeting quads, you're going to start building more fascia on the quads to add more stability there. And you wonder why your knees get a little sore and a little stiff. Like, oh, it's inflammation and some fascia building up on that aspect of the leg that you're working. And so they realize real quickly how important it is. And they ask you, how does this stuff happen? It's like everything you do is a response, and your body's adding fascia, your body's adding all sorts of stuff for you specifically. So
Okay.
I try and do as much teaching as possible on all these. So everyone, I always like knowing what's happening to my body when I get body work.
Hmm.
I'm like, hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? Like, what does this do? So I try and do that for all my clients as well.
Yeah, especially with the general public not knowing fashion. This is not their work, so it's, I think,
Yeah,
really
exactly.
important as you make it simple for them. Do you have any success stories or wins that you've had recently with people coming in and getting FST work?
FST work. I mean, we get success stories, I mean, weekly. I
Hmm.
get cool stuff. I've had a guy, he owns the company that I do the corporate work at, him and his brothers do. And he was dealing with headaches. And I was like, hey, where are the headaches coming from? They're like, oh, it starts back here, wraps around the top of the head. I'm like, oh, it sounds like tension headaches. Like, if we stretch out all this stuff, we might be able to help you with that. He texts me later on that day. He's like, my headaches are gone after working on his neck and his upper shoulders and loosening everything, just taking some of that tension away. That's always a fun one. And then I had one of the coolest ones I had early on in my FST this a couple of years ago.
Huh?
He was an 84-year-old man, congenital, one leg shorter than the other, always has hip pain, always has back pain. And there was a story that Ann tells in the level 1 class, and it's when you're kind of like moving the hip back and forth and just trying to get a feel for where the hip is. And it was almost calming down the nerves, showing how telling the body like it doesn't need to hurt in this range. And that's all I did with him for 45 minutes, because I tried normal stretching. I tried working the lateral line. He's like, ah, that hurts. Ah, that hurts. And I was like, all right, well, this is where we're going to go. We're going to meet you where you're at. And I moved his hips around and worked him. And he got up off the table, and his daughter-in-law is the one that sent him in to me. A week later, I saw her again. I was like, hey, how's your father-in-law doing? And she said, this is the first time in 40 something years he hasn't had pain in his hips or back. And it lasted for like 2 weeks until he had to drive back to Chicago for 18 hours or whatever in the car. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like that was super cool. It makes this stuff as rewarding and as fulfilling as it can be.
Were you just like, was he just laying on the table and you're just, what we're doing, just manual work as far as
Yep.
like just circumduction and like
Yes.
oscillating?
Yep. Circumduction, oscillating, like while he was on his back. Had his hip at 90 and his knee at 90, and I had his foot up here, and I was holding his knee,
Uh-huh.
just circling back and forth. And it started like I was barely moving it. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, after like 5 minutes, oh, okay, I got a little bit more, and then I got him all the way out to the side, and he was moving. And he got up, and he was like, initially you don't feel anything when that happens, right? And he's like, it doesn't hurt anymore. That's good. And then I got report from his daughter-in-law, like he is so pumped because it hasn't hurt. He actually slept. He did this. He did that. I was like, super cool.
Yeah.
Love that stuff.
Dang. The power of what we do.
It's pretty cool. It's very cool.
Did you say, do you ever have like imposter syndrome when you first started? Like, you didn't know what you're doing, especially like you said, you didn't have any hands-on experience like myself. Like, yeah, what was it? How did you overcome that? Just more people sitting on getting on the table and just practicing or like getting used to it or what?
I mean, I still get it. I still get imposter syndrome when I just had a buddy of mine on the table earlier today, and he's been in body work for like 30 years. He actually is FST trained. He did it
Okay.
10, 15 years ago. He did level 1, and he does some voodoo stuff. I don't even know what he does, but on the table, I'm stretching him. And I'm like, am I even qualified to touch your body? Like, what is it? What's going on here? So I definitely do get that, but you just kind of, you do what you know, right? And you just keep doing it. And you approach it with the right intention that you're on my table so I can help you. And I'm here so I'm here so I can help you, right? So there's a level of trust that they got on your table in the first place. So that should give you some confidence in and of itself. And then, we're all trained very, very well from stretch to win. And even in those 5 days, those 8-hour days, you walk away knowing something, right? And you can apply whatever you learn during those sessions. And more often than not, the stretches that you learn, especially if they're a new client, they haven't felt these things before. So they're going to think you're amazing. Like
Mhm.
they're going to think you're a magician. They're, oh my God, you have miracle hands. You have this, and that. Like I'm just good at listening to instructions, to be honest with you. But the modality in and of itself is incredible. And it's, the imposter syndrome kind of fades away after you have person after person after person saying, I feel so much better getting off the table. I maybe have had one unsatisfied customer. That's because he was already hurt. Like his back was already jacked up. So he walked
Yeah.
out angry. That's about it. You treat people the right way with the right intention, I think that fades away pretty quickly.
So what would you say, piggyback on that, what would you say to someone who's on the fence about enrolling with the Stretch to Win course? What would you tell them?
It would all depend on what their goals are, right?
Hmm.
Are they looking to start a business in stretching? Or are they looking to acquire knowledge on incredible modality to, help their clients that they already have? Are they a massage therapist, whatever? Or are they out to just, make money and stuff? If you're out to just make money and like, oh, this is great, I'm going to do this, probably not the place for you, because you're going to find out real quick the kind of people that are there, and you feel the energy as soon as you walk in that building.
Mm.
Right. Every single person, everyone's on the same page. I'm here to help my clients. I'm here to learn. I'm here to grow. I'm here to network and communicate like what we're doing here. I've never met you in person. We met online, right? But we're making connections and we're spreading out this knowledge, right? And it's a beautiful thing. And I love when I get to go down there for a new class that they have, just because I'm around my people, right? I go in there, I get revitalized and refueled and energized for what I'm doing. So if you're going down there just to figure out a way to make a buck, probably not your place. Probably go find somewhere else. But if you're looking to change some lives and you're looking to, you know, create a network of like-minded people, this is the place for you, and it's worth every penny.
It's definitely that the ROI and enroll into this course, not knowing anything, and of course once we're done, like you feel like you will be successful, and I think I felt that too. Like those 5 days, just putting on hands on the body and doing the stretches, like yeah, I didn't know what the heck I was doing, so it's crazy.
Yeah, they're great. And the instructors are all great too.
Hmm.
I mean, most of the ones that were there, my first level one, aren't there anymore, but you meet the OGs and you create relationships with them, and then you show them pictures of your family and they all care. They all love you. There's honest to God love when you walk through that door. You give everybody hugs and you meet new people, and then by the end of the week they're your best friends and you still keep in contact with them, well after you're done with that course. It's great.
As far as like finding new clients, I know you work at this corporate location, but like, how do you find typical new clients? Referral source? What's your strategy typically?
A lot of mine are referrals. Referrals are probably the best way you can get a client because
Mhm.
it's a person they already trust, giving them their word and their stamp of approval that this person can help them. I still get a lot of people who are nervous even after a referral. Like, oh, I've tried everything. I've done this, I've done that. I've taken all the pills, I've done the PT. I'm like, give this a shot. If you don't, and I have a no pressure sales pitch. It's like, if you don't like me, please go find somebody that can help you. But it's like, I just want people to get better, but more often than not they stick around and they want more sessions and they want to continue feeling that good that they did when they get off the table. I'm starting to dabble in social media a little bit. I've gotten a bunch of people that have seen me on social media. Like, I have a pretty extensive network through basketball growing up in this area, and they see what I'm doing on social media and they're like, "Oh, hey, can you help me?" Absolutely. Come on my table. I'll take care of you. We'll get it going. The social media thing is huge, and then I talk about it constantly.
Hmm.
For example, I was just on a plane with my wife. She's a flight attendant. And we got on the plane early and I was sitting there talking with the captain, the pilot. He happens to live in the area. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I went and grabbed the card and started chatting to him about it. And he was like, I'm definitely going to call you. He's like, I need this more than anything. I sat on this little cramped cockpit for 6 hours. He's like, I need to be stretched out. So you constantly talk about it and you constantly sell yourself. And it has to go from not just selling yourself, but creating a purpose and sharing what you do, because everybody needs FST. Everybody needs some body work,
Yeah.
right? If they don't know you exist, you can't help, right? So you got to talk about what you do, and it's not selling, it's how can I help you? So you see somebody limping, like, hey, what's going on? I kind of bring it up, ask non-invasive questions. Like, hey, did you have surgery? Did you just injure yourself? What's going on? And then typically they'll spill their whole life story for you. And you're like, oh, hey, I stretch people for a living. I do this. I have this great modality. I think I can help if you're interested. And I've gotten people like that too. And they end up being long-term clients after a while.
Yeah. I know probably based off of your story and your background of being injured and having to recover, and finding FSD, you probably have this passion to pass this on, right, to people. Like you're saying,
Absolutely.
like I think that drives your business to saying I'm wanting to search for those people who are also searching for those. That they've tried a lot of stuff, but they just haven't found that one thing that can help them get past over that, whether if it's injury or just chronic issues. Another question for you: what's your long-term goal for your business in the next few years? What are you trying to accomplish? What do you envision?
So like I said, I started in a facility, and it was kind of a recovery facility. We had a cryo chamber and saunas and compression boots and a recovery room. There's so many different ways that you can go about this. I wouldn't mind having a facility with a bunch of FST or other modalities that can complement, like a chiropractor, a massage therapist, something like that. Ultimately, I want to help as many people as possible. And I would say the one downside to FST is you can only help one person at a time. It's
Sure.
whoever's on the table, whoever you can get your hands on, right?
Sure.
So, attempting to grow, maybe get some people interested and send them down to Phoenix or send them up to Canada and get them trained, and helping them expand the business and helping them get better at FST along the way. But I would like to continue to grow, so just so we can reach more people.
So on top of that, how do you see fascial stretch therapy evolving in the next coming years?
Well, Ann and Chris are doing a great job of, I mean, they're lifelong learners, and they're learning all these different things and bringing all these different modalities to Stretch to Win. So when I was down there, they had just started talking about doing a course on scar tissue. And they actually worked on me on one of my surgical scars in front of the class and did a little mini course with it. And I think they did a full 2-day course in the following October, December, something like that. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it, but I hope they create this whole thing with it where it's solely based on fascia, and how can we help the body with fascia, with stretching and these different modalities. So I think that's where their plan is to grow. We have so many amazing minds that know FST and that perform the FST, that they're going to come up with their own modalities and their own ways of helping people. And maybe they'll turn around and the students will then become teachers and come back to Ann and Chris years down the line and start teaching their own stuff, because it's incredible. Again, this community, this culture that they've built, the minds that are in it are going to come up with something special, or a lot of things that are special. So you have your stretch labs, stretch zones, they're popping up all over the place. People are acknowledging how important stretching is. So the awareness is there. So I think the more people that get involved, and FST is going to become a household name, and we won't have to explain it as much when we see people.
Sure. That's always that. Do you do facials? No, I do fascial stretch.
Yeah, you can stretch my face. I don't know what that's going to do. That sounds great, though. That's always my favorite.
I guess my last two questions for you is I know you kind of talked about it, but as far as being effective in growing your business, referrals, what other avenues when you first got started? Because yeah, your circumstance was different because you were given, like, your buddy had this business, gave it to you, but like if you were like someone like right off the bat, you know, you're from there, you're from Colorado, so you have a
Yep.
pretty good network. But
Yep.
for someone who's like starting off, what are some effective strategies or, you know, tactics that you think someone could build a business from doing FSC?
Nobody likes hearing this, but the best way to continue growing and getting new clients is do a lot of free stuff. You know, whether that's setting up at
Mhm.
oops, whether that's setting up a booth at a farmer's market, or going to, I've done golf events before, I've done CrossFit events before, I've set up at health fairs, set up a booth, explain what it is, get people's information. I made this mistake. I probably got 15 people on the table. They're all interested. I never got any of their contact info. I just had them sign the waiver. So make sure you get their contact info, get their phone number, get their email, get them on your list, start firing out emails, because people do enjoy it. They love it when they get on the table. Sometimes they forget because that's 10 minutes of their 4-hour day. And then all of a sudden they get an email. Oh, that's right. The stretch guy over at the health fair was amazing. I should go book a session with him. So give away free 10, 15-minute stretches because people don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to sell something, it's like, oh, it's only however much you charge. That's a lot of money to a lot of people, especially if they don't know what it is. So you got to give them a little taste of it. You gotta share some knowledge. You kind of have to prove to people that you're worth it before they go and spend like their hard-earned money on you. So I would suggest doing a bunch of free stuff. I went to I want to say it was a Thanksgiving dinner, and there was 4 or 5 different families there, and somebody was mentioning like, "Oh, my neck is killing me." I'm like, "Hey, you want to stretch?" Before you know it,
No way.
I'm in the guest bedroom on the bed stretching necks, and I had 7 people I think that night. I worked for like 2 straight hours. But I tell you what,
Uh-huh.
4 of those people have come back and regularly come to me when they have issues that can't be solved elsewhere. So again, it pays off. The free stuff, if they don't know they don't know what it is, they're never going to come. So you got to
Yeah,
give them a little snippet of it. But yeah, doing free stuff, I think, is the best thing you can do.
sure. We can't explain it, but we can let you
We
feel
can,
it, you know. Cool. And then I guess for you, how have you grown your business from the time you started till now? Just plain and simple. I know you probably mentioned it, but like if someone like how did you grow it, basically?
I think the most important thing is treating your existing clients as if they're like first timers. You want to give them that royal treatment every single time, right? You don't waste a session because you're tired or they've been there before. You treat your existing clients like royalty.
Mhm.
And every single session is very important to them because that's their time, that's their money. You're confirming and strengthening that relationship with them every single time they get on the table. You don't waste that the sessions that you have. So if you have 2 clients, those are your two most important clients. It's not the next one because you only know so many people. Those 2 clients might know 100 people that they could share this with. I've had a couple of clients refer dozens of people to me, and I'll at least get a call. I'll at least get a text. And I've gotten a ton of people on the table just because they don't stop talking about how incredible the FST and how incredible it is when they get on the table. So treat your existing clients really, really well. That word of mouth is worth more than its weight in gold. It's super important. And if you're trying to get your name out there, talk about it. You have to talk about it. You have to get your name out there. You have to sell yourself a little bit. Um, those are the ways that I've been growing my business.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
proofs in the pudding.
Well, hey, man, thank you so much for sharing that. Definitely, I wrote a lot of notes. Definitely for me, I've only been doing this for 5 months, so a
Yeah.
lot to learn. So thank you again.
Awesome. Absolutely. I
Um,
appreciate the invite, man.
yeah. So, JMO, love to have you share with the audience how people can follow you and learn more about what you're doing, and of course, book a session, man. Please share with the audience your social media handle, way to contact you, whether if it's email, a phone, or website, and then of course the location. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
So my office currently located in North Glen, Colorado. You can find me on Instagram at Mobility Wellness. It's mobility with an E, so MOEBILITY Wellness. That's on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook that way, or you can find me at mobilitywellness.com. And then my email is mobilitywellness@gmail.com.
Sounds good. Mobility wellness, everyone. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, looking forward to, seeing your business grow, and of course, pick your brain maybe in the future. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And then
Pleasure being here.
yes, sir. For those of you who are wanting to learn more about how JMO and I got into, doing Stretch to Win course, please visit stretchtowin.com, where you can learn more from our founder, Chris and Ann Frederick. They've been doing this for 30 years strong, and something that I think everyone should get on the table once so they can actually experience this great body work that changes so many people's lives. So thank you so much. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow the Stretch to Go podcast. Thanks, everyone. All right, cool. All right. Sweet, man. So what I was gonna let you know, so I have this podcast like booked out. So I know I have a couple episodes already scheduled out. So this might not be coming out till like February. So I'm gonna shoot you out an email, or I'll just message you, say, hey, here's some clips, because I'll share some clips from this podcast, so you can, feel free to share it on your social. And if you don't mind, please email me. I don't know if you did, but just like the same thing, the email, phone, your location, so I can put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anyways to help you promote your business.
I appreciate it, man. Where are you located?
Maryland, brother.
Nice.
Yeah. So I just moved out here about a year ago. So, but yeah, cool. It's different from where I was last year.
Where were you last year?
On the Big Island, Hawaii.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
never made it out there. Still want to go.
Oh, bro. I mean, it's not that far. Colorado to Hawaii, 2 planes.
It's not a terrible flight.
Yeah. Plus, your wife could probably help you get there. I don't know.
Well, she can.
Yeah.
She snuck in here through the podcast and was listening. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate the invite.
Yes, sir.
This is cool.
Yeah. And if you happen to know anyone else that you think that's, the type of personality that's willing to share their tidbit of nugget of FSD, feel free to, refer them to me or mention them to me, because I'm always looking to interview people who have taken it, but also who are still certified. Because there's one guy told me, he's like, you should interview people who are still certified, because there are people who've done it but not certified. So I'm like, that makes sense, because there are people I've reached out, and but then like I look on the director, I'm like, oh, they're not even on there anymore. So
yeah,
it's unfortunate.
I'm still in contact with a bunch of people. I'll take a look at it and then see if we can refer some to you and keep your podcast going. I like it.
Cool. Thanks, JMO.
You got it, Ian.
So yeah, Happy New Year.
Later, brother. Yeah, Happy New Year.